welcome back to the Daily AMG and welcome to my June book haul, which, don't get it twisted, does not mean that I will not be purchasing any more books the final week of June. I'll just throw them in my July book haul. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. I have 24 things to show you, so let's just get into it and insert Oops, I Did It Again music here. So the first few books that I'm going to show you are my Book of the Month books, and also let me introduce you to this creature that is crawling upon me because she is being a leech today with her mother and will not leave my side / lap. And that is Lexi Grace. Say hi to the people, Lexi. I'm not sure if Lexi's been in any of my videos since I came back to BookTube. But yeah, she is, I'm not sure what her deal is. She's just being very, very cuddly and needy right now. So you may see a cute little head popping in and out of this video. Alright, first up I have the Book of Essie. This is by Megan McLean Ware, and this follows Essie, a 17-year-old daughter of an evangelical preacher who also has, like, their family has a reality show, and she becomes pregnant, and it goes from there. I am sure that it is, I'm not really sure what to expect, honestly. It's a debut novel. It's getting a lot of hype. And it's kind of, it's not a world that I'm, like, familiar with. But I can totally imagine. I grew up Southern Baptist. So, yeah. I can kind of imagine what a lot of the, like, thoughts of the town folk or whatever are going to be. The next I have The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman, which I have been meaning to get to since November when it was released. And yeah, so this is basically a prequel to Practical Magic. It goes into like the origins of the Owens family. And I think it's set in like the 60s or whatever of New York City, which if you know me, you know. Duh. Let's see, it has magic. It's set in New York and it's set in post-war, yeah, America. Yeah. All the boxes. Okay, and then the next book I picked up is a nonfiction book, and this is One Day We'll All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter by, I think it's Sketchy Cool. I'm really sorry if that's not how you pronounce this. This was an April 2017 release, so it's been like a year and plus some since this came out, but it's been on my TBR, and I kind of like to just go back on the Book of the Month page and see, because I usually do get the 3 books like I said, but I want like one of the current, unless the current are like spectacular. They haven't been spectacular here recently. I almost skipped this month, and I've never skipped a month, so then I was like, no, I'm not going to skip, I don't know. I didn't want to skip because I knew that there were books that I wanted to purchase that had already come out, like Rules of Magic and None of This Will Matter. So yeah, this is a nonfiction, razor sharp humor about fears, outrages, and mortifying experience as a woman of color growing up in Canada. It just sounds phenomenal, right up my alley. So yeah. Okay, and then we'll get into the non-Book of the Month books. So June, I will say, is also my birthday month. I'm a June bug. Happy birthday to my fellow June bugs. June bugs are also one of my favorite animals, and I know that's totally gross because a lot of people just don't like bugs. But as a child, I can remember, like, kindergarten age child, at the end of the school year, like May, we would start getting a lot of June bugs in and around the school and playground, etc. As June bugs, you know, they just appear out of nowhere. And I always just got so excited because I was like, my birthday's coming up. That's my bug. Yes. All of the insights into my life that you receive through these videos is really astounding and should be highly embarrassing, but I'm not really a person that gets highly embarrassed, as you can tell. Okay, so the first 2 books I picked up at the Dollar Tree, so they were $1, and they're both food related, or well, one is beverage related, and that is The Ultimate Wine Companion Hello. I like wine. So this is the complete guide to understanding wine by the world's foremost wine authorities. Okay, I'll read that while drinking my $5 Rex and Goliath Pinot Noir. The next book that I got for $1 is the True Blood Cookbook. I lent this to my bestie, so Linz, you can now keep that. It is yours, as I found one for $1. So now we are both so happy to have this cookbook. If you are not aware of what True Blood is, then please stop this video and go get HBO Now and binge this wonderful, delightful, incredible, amazing, wonderful series that HBO so kindly brought to us from the Suki Stackhouse novels series by Charlaine Harris. They're also, I can't say they because I've only read the first one, and it was okay. But I read it after the series because I was like missing the series so much. And I don't know, I need to read more because obviously it was adapted from this series. And it's a very, very beloved series. And maybe it just, the first few are just maybe like, you know, gearing up and setting plot and setting settings. So anyways, I totally digress because I could talk about True Blood like all day. Okay, so next we're going to get into something that I also started in June, so I kind of have like a few of these to like tell you about. She's just chilling. Luckily she's little, so my lap can have her and the books. Okay, I will start with the one, okay, let me just tell you what I'm talking about. So for June, or in June, for my birthday, since it starts my new year, I kind of like assess my life and where I'm at and where I want to be and where I'm going, etc. Because I am a firm believer in creating your own happiness, cultivating your own life, and so it's like go after your own life, like grab life by the horns, etc. So on my birthday, that's usually what I do. I make a list of things that like for my year, my new year. These are my resolutions, and they're usually very personal, not just like cut back on sweets like you do for New Year's Eve. So one of them was to tackle the Hogarth Shakespeare project. I typically don't do bookish things during this time of the year, but I was at Barnes & Noble the weekend prior to my birthday, and I found a book, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be the perfect time for me to just forget about how absolutely intimidating this is and just do it. You want to do it. You love Shakespeare. It's always been something that like totally intrigued me, and they've all been on my TBR, and I've really wanted to just dive in so many times. So I'm doing it. I've already gotten one of the plays and adaptations read, so we'll start there. So the first one is The Taming of the Shrew, and the adaptation is by Ann Tyler, and this is Vinegar Girl. I love the title. I love the cover. I especially love the UK cover, and even though I did not particularly like this book, I will probably still purchase the UK cover because it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Here's the thing. Excuse me. I have read, or I have seen, this is kind of my first, I don't think there are any of these plays that I have actually read prior to doing this. So far I haven't. And I'll get into the next one. Anyways. So The Taming of the Shrew, I was very aware of the premise of Taming of the Shrew. I've seen the play. I've also watched 10 Things I Hate About You like a bazillion times. Bazillion, you know. And then I read it, and I knew how problematic it was, but then whenever you reread it in your 30s, you're just like, woo, this is very problematic. So you kind of have to take that for what it is. It was meant to be a comedy, and it is a comedy. If you see it on stage, it is a comedy. Reading it, which plays aren't necessarily meant to be read, they're meant to be performed, so there's kind of that disconnect also as far as you're reading it. You're basically just doing the whole play to yourself, you know. Anyway, so I read it, then I listened to a performance of it, which was great. The performance was great. But the play itself is very problematic. It doesn't paint women in the best light, and also just because anyway, I just feel, I feel really bad for Catherine because, well, first of all, can we just talk about how only men were allowed to be in these plays and how funny it is to think about like a man portraying a shrewd woman in the way that they think a shrewd woman is? I just kind of want to see it. It makes me laugh. But just because Catherine, a strong female, does not a shrew make. I maybe shouldn't have started here, but I wanted to start with a comedy that I was familiar with. So then we go into Vinegar Girl, which Ann Tyler. I've never read any Ann Tyler. I have seven Ann Tyler novels on my bookshelves. 7. So I'm really disappointed that this was not as good as I thought other Ann Tyler is said to be. I will definitely do a June wrap up where I will talk more about this. But this probably wasn't the best place for me to start. But that's okay, because now I am reading The Tempest. And then I will read Hagseed by Margaret Atwood, which I'm super excited about. I'm familiar with The Tempest because magic. I love Shakespeare, and I love all of his characters that are witchy, magical, fairy-like, etc. I just always love the humor that goes along with like the mischievous magicians and witchy things that go on. Anyways, you know, that's like at the top of my list. So that's the next one I'm working on. I'm reading this right now, The Tempest, and then I will also find a production of it. I may try to find a production of it that I can actually watch. Also, like, I need to now watch The Taming of the Shrew with Elizabeth Taylor again, because I'm like, oh, this is a great excuse to watch some Liz Taylor. Always. Okay, and then I also, at the same time that I picked up those, I picked up Much Ado About Nothing because it is one of my favorite Shakespeare's. It's a romantic comedy, la 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 la. But it's not one that they're doing for Hogarth, and I'm so mad. I don't think it's over. I don't know. Like, the next one doesn't come out until like 2021, and that is going to be Gillian Flynn, her adaptation of Hamlet. Yes, please. So anyways, that's that. That's Hogarth. I'll do a whole thing on the Hogarth Shakespeare project, because now I'm in the nitty gritty. I'm doing the thing, and I'm super excited about it. So then let's get into some nonfiction that I picked up. I picked all these up at Barnes & Noble, and I have yet to remove the price tag, so you'll know that they are Barnes & Noble bargain books. Okay, the first one is Women Wartime Spies. You know I love spies, but I especially love powerful, amazing women who are also spies. That makes me super happy. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's this big. But hey, Maybe I'll find more books on women's fight. Okay, and then I picked up Myths and Legends. This kind of, oh, well, if you've watched my May wrap-up, my May wrap-up and my May, book haul, you will know how much I love Greek mythology. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh yes, because it has classical Greek, Celtic, Norse, Chinese, African, Native American, and I think also Irish, but for whatever reason, oh no, Scottish. For whatever reason, like, it lists all of these things, and then it says, and more, but the only other is Scottish, and I kind of feel like, or you could have just put, and Scottish. Just saying, because it makes no sense that you left it out on your cover, but it was the only one not included. Hi, I'm offended for them. Okay, and then the next book I got is one that I have already read, but I saw it for $6.98, and I had to add it to my nonfiction shelf, which my nonfiction shelf is now like 2 deep on every shelf, and I need like 2 more bookcases just for nonfiction. Problems. And that is Boys and Trees by Carly Simon. This was outstanding. I love Carly Simon, and she has a way with words, and her life and her music and her life as a musician, it's all phenomenal. It's all super intriguing, super interesting. And speaking of all of the things, I then got the definitive biography of Billy Joel. How can it be definitive? The man is still alive. But I do love Billy Joel. And so, yeah, at $6.98, I said, y'all coming home with me. Okay, so also while I was at Barnes & Noble, they were having 2 for $10 on their classics. I have a lot of Barnes & Noble classics because they typically do 2 for $10 quite often. And so the first thing that I got was The Awakening and other short story, and selected short fiction, which means like, and selected short stories, which is what I was trying to say, but I could not use my words, by Kate Chopin. And I don't know. I've heard of The Awakening. I know it's set in New Orleans. I know it's kind of about like a sexual awakening, a sexual revolution in a woman's life. So I'm very excited to get into that and to add it to my pretty little shelf because these all just look so beautiful lined up together. I just love it. Okay, and then I got The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, which I can't be completely certain that I don't already own. I know I have other Edith Wharton. I'm really not certain. But anyways, this is set in New York City. Oh, are you tired of that yet? Anyways, in the 1920s, and it is just about the opulence that is, and the drama that is that time period. And then I think I'm done with books that I got during that specific trip. Some of these are going to be, some of these are from Book Outlet. And then some, okay, so 6 of these are going to be Book Outlet purchase, and then 2 of them are going to be ones that were sent to me. So the first one here, this is a Book Outlet purchase. It's called Read Bottom Up, a novel by Neil Shaw and Sky Chatham. And, oh, it's set in New York. And it is basically told through emails, I believe. So I'm thinking that it's a little bit of like a You've Got Mail kind of thing, which is my most favorite movie of life. So sign me up. I'm really easy to believe. The next is Marian Keyes, The Woman Who Stole My Life. I loved Marian Keyes going back to the days of my obsession with chick lit. I read everything Marian Keyes had at that time, and I saw this and was like, oh my gosh, she's still writing, which of course I'm sure she would be. She's just not necessarily on my radar. Like, I really keep up with Sophie Kinsella, and that's pretty much the only one. And Jennifer Weiner, if you saw my wrap up for May, you know that I read her memoir in May, and it was just so amazing. She's just incredible. So yeah, so I saw this and thought, oh my gosh, Marian Keyes has something that came out fairly recently, I think in 2016. Yeah, 2016. So I'm excited to read that. I hope that I have a better experience with that than the last two chick lit that I picked up. Maybe since Marian Keyes has written since I started reading chick lit 15, 16 years ago, maybe she's also evolved with the times, and maybe her characters have grown up a little bit, both in age and maturity. I'm hoping. We can hope, right? Okay, and then on to more. Okay, so let me tell you about Book Outlet and about Scratch and Dent. So I got this book for 99 cents and or $1.09 or $1.19, something like that. And it says Scratch and Dent copy, so you know that your copy could come scratched or dent, etc. However, and it's okay because it doesn't actually interfere with any of the words. But that is like, I mean, my finger can fit in that. Look at that. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. But it's okay because, like I said, it doesn't actually like interfere with the actual text or anything like that. So I'm fine. But this book sounds incredible. This is, oh, I should tell you, right? The Other Typist by Suzanne Rendell, maybe? Rendell? I do hate that on the cover it says, if you liked Gone Girl, you might enjoy The Other Typist. The best book I've read so far this summer. I really hate the whole, if you liked Gone Girl, buy my book. I really hate that. I truly do. I truly do. But this is about two typists in the 1920s in New York City, and they work for the New York Police Department. They become friends, and one of them shows them into the sleazy underworld of the jazz age 1920s New York City. Woo! But I really don't know how it's like for fans of Gone Girl. I don't know, because I don't want to read too much. I don't want to know, because I have found that if you read the synopsis, the flap, or the back, you can really get spoiled on things. And I'm just like, I'm amazed that you let the cat out of the bag. Okay, next up we have Girl Through Glass by Sari Wilson. I'm gonna guess that it's, yeah, it's set in the cutthroat world of the New York City Ballet. Yes, love it. Okay, and then I have a book that was sent to me by the author, Ellery Adams. I reached out to her. She had posted if anybody wanted a book that she would send it to them on this Facebook thing. And I read this book in April. I have read, no, wait. I think she has a series that I've never read any of. Yeah, I think she has a mysteries. She does cozy mysteries, and I think she has a series that I've not read any from. But anyways, her Retreat series is my absolute favorite. It is just a cozy mystery series about a bed and breakfast type that hosts literary and bookish festivals or like conventions or whatever, and then like, oh no, a murder ensues, and oh, it's just, they're all so good. And then there's like a little bit of like another thing happening that is the best icing on the cake ever. So then she came out with a new series, and this is The Secret Book and Scone Society. And inside she says, welcome to the society, your friend Ellery. Oh my gosh, it's so sweet. I am just beyond thrilled to own a signed copy of this, because this is going to be probably my favorite of her Cozy Mysteries series. So I can't wait. But like I said, the new one just came out. Like April, I think is when it was released. I jumped on that like real quick. Okay, and then the next three are actually all YA, I believe. I don't know. And then I received this in a book swap. And that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This has been around for a few years. I think it's YA. I don't know. BookTube really like took off during that time, and everybody was raving about it. And I feel like it might have been YA, or maybe it was just so good that it transcend. You know, I like when things like transcend the whole like genre thing, because I really don't like putting labels on things. But anyway, so I think this is about a drama camp in the last days of the world, something like that, or at least of civilization as we know it. I think it's dystopian like that. I think there's maybe like an outbreak of some sort. Anyways, next we have The Gallery by Laura Marks Fitzgerald, and oh my gosh, can you see how pretty and shiny that is? And all I know is this says, an eccentric recluse, a self-absorbed newspaper magnate, a shady footman, a mansion with a secret, and one girl with the moxie to see everything for what it is. Boom! You know I love a girl with moxie. But also, I wonder if this is set in New York. I'm just kidding. I'm going to laugh if it really is set in New York. I don't think it is. I think it's a fantasy. But anyway, that would be funny. Okay, and then the next book I got is A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. All I know is the BookTube has continuously talked about this and said that it gives, that people have said, booktubers have said, that it gives them the same feels as when they first read Harry Potter. So, of course, add to cart, send to me, and oh my gosh, the cover is just gorgeous. So this says, I am Henrietta Howell, the first female sorcerer in ages, the girl who can control flames, the one who will defeat the ancients, the prophesied one. So, and then it says, or am I? Or is she? I don't know. We'll have to find out. It just sounds fantastic. So those are the books, the 24 books, in fact, that I picked up in the month of June. So thank you all so much for watching this. Check out my May wrap-up that I just filmed. And yes, it is summer, but I'm wearing all black because that's just how I live my life. So yeah, come back for more bookish videos from me. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I do post new random stuff as I want to do. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye.